Thank you so much for coming tonight, Marlon. I'm so excited about this combination of you and Nancy. I'm sure it's going to be a fabulous conversation and a great moderator as well, so I'm really looking forward to it. I was wondering if you could tell me what you think's going to be really hot this coming year as far as investments go.
Yeah, so for us, we study culture, and culture is a proxy for consumer behavior. And essentially, what we do is we look for trends, emerging trends, things that are we consider disruption to the way that things are currently done. So one place that we're looking at is underrepresented communities, and the fact that there hasn't been a lot of innovation, or there are a ton of challenges that haven't been solved in those communities for a long time. And now what we're seeing is that there are a lot more folks from those communities that are coding, that are interested in being startup founders and things like that. So I'm really excited about seeing some of those challenges, again, that have not been touched in years, finding solutions for them and investing in underrepresented folks that are well positioned to create solutions for those problems.
That's real disruption, isn't it, really? Because it's almost like an untouched playing field.
Yeah, absolutely. Essentially, it's what we're going after. You can, in this business, I think you can chase the hot thing that everyone else is chasing, and maybe you'll get a nice return from that. There have been some success stories, but I think the real big wins come from when you find companies that create new markets, right, and then own those markets. And we think that if you invest in founders that truly understand the challenges that they're going after in a very unique way, and have a unique and enthusiasm and passion about solving those challenges, you'll find those winners, and you'll be able to unlock those new markets, and everyone wins.
What really grabs you when an entrepreneur comes in to pitch to you? What is it for you that really stands out and makes you think, I want to know more, or I want to have some sort of connection with this entrepreneur?
Yeah, is this thing unique, right? So, are you bringing me something that maybe I have never thought of before, right? And then can you tell a story that really shapes why this is a big deal for so many people, right? How many lives are you going to touch with this thing? If you can do that, then I'm pretty interested. After that, it's about the team themselves, right? So I mentioned passion and enthusiasm, right? What do you have a unique personal story, or is there some really deep domain expertise and related to this thing that you're doing that sets you apart from everyone else, right? I want to know that I'm backing the person that is the most qualified and the most passionate about this thing that they're going after.
And they'll go through hell or high water to achieve their goal, right?
Yeah, you'll do whatever you need to do within legal boundaries to get right to get this thing done, right? And you'll do it in an ethical way. Yeah.
And so tell me, I love to ask the investors if they have a funny story to tell about being an investor, some funny pitch or something that's happened to you. Could you share something like that?
Yeah, I don't know how funny it is, but whenever I think about this, and I'm gonna meet with an entrepreneur, and my partners and our firm thinks about this the same way. You respect the entrepreneur. So we're out fundraising, and we're in Southern California, a really big foundation. And we got the meeting. We're excited to be in the meeting. We're all perked up and talking. And the guy is sitting across from us, and literally, like, we're talking, and he's like, and so I look at my partner Troy, and I'm like, what do we do here? So he just keeps talking, and so eventually he like wakes up. It was like right after lunch. So I think he had a food coma or something. I don't know, but he eventually wakes up, and we end up having a really great conversation with him. But that moment when we're so excited about what we're building, and what we've achieved, what had achieved up to that point, and to see someone nodding off was just almost demoralizing. But like I said, we kind of recovered from it. But it's a great lesson, right? So now we'll never do that to an entrepreneur.
And I've heard of in the past, not more recently, but in the past, of entrepreneurs going in and investors being on their phones or doing other things and absolutely not listening to them. So there's no better way really to have empathy for the other side of the table than to have the experience yourself.
No, exactly, and I didn't really appreciate. So I've been an early employee in a startup, but I wasn't doing the fundraising, right? I was kind of operations and strategy and stuff like that, and then I was a corporate VC, and you don't raise money when you do that, right? So I didn't really understand it, but then when you go out and you raise your own fund and you see what just how difficult it is, right? All the meetings you have to have, and how little time you have to spare in a day. And when you give that time to someone, or you share that time with someone, you want to make sure that it's respected, and that it's worth your time. So if I'm not interested in what an entrepreneur is doing, I won't take the meeting, right? We'll trade emails, and I'll explain why, and I'll share this is probably not the best use of your time or my time. But if I do take the meeting, I'm there 100%.
So that's nice. So you don't waste the entrepreneur's time, because again, a lot of they say that a lot of the investors will take the meeting and then not even give a clear response, yes or no, just to keep them dangling for a long time. So I think that that's a bit cruel too, correct?
Yeah, I like to know where I stand, right? And sometimes you do kind of end up in that gray space where, yeah, this is interesting, but it's a little too early,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I forgot, someone once put on a whiteboard in a room where I was. It was like too early, too early, too early, too late. And where you want to invest is the third too early, right? You don't want to be too late, and you don't want to be too early, right? So sometimes you meet an entrepreneur and you love the entrepreneur, and you really like the idea that they're working on, but you just know that the market forces aren't there right now, and so yeah, you want to keep in touch. But I'm always pretty clear. We're not going to move forward with an investment conversation right now. I think this market is maybe X amount of time away, and let's re-engage in 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, and see what's going on then. The same is true for an entrepreneur with a great idea that just doesn't have the level of traction that we need to see to validate our opinion of their product or their solution. And it's let's stay in touch. I really like you. I think you're going to do some amazing things, but I need to see more.
It's so great now that investors are, I guess because there's so many more younger investors than there used to be years ago, that they're being more honest and have more integrity. So I know Dave McClure was always saying, greedy VCs and calling himself that himself. But, the reality is that if there's honesty and integrity, then you can build a relationship of trust. And that's, oh my God, you have to have that if you're investing in a company, and for the founder as well, correct?
Yeah, it's that minimum of 10-year relationship, right? That's between 5 and 10 years is how long you stay in an investment. But I say at minimum because they're probably going to create companies after that, or you're probably going to do things together after that. So you're building a relationship, and all relationships have to be grounded in trust. And then the other thing too is my mom always taught me the golden rule: do unto others as you want done unto you, right? So I try to practice that in life. Yeah.
So years ago in London, I had a startup. It was a dating matching algorithm. I failed at getting venture, and that's how I ended up here doing all these interviews with VCs. But one of the things that I learnt from that industry is that you can't fake it to get a good match. And of course, that's why it fascinated me so much, the relationship between investors and entrepreneurs, because just for that very reason, if there's no honesty, how are you going to get a good match? Whether it's from the investor or from the entrepreneur. Same in any sort of love relationship or business relationship. If someone's not being honest, it's not going to work.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. And so there's the honesty, but then there's also a connection too, right? You've got to like the person, right?
Yeah,
So
there's got to be that chemistry, right?
yeah, because you're gonna spend a lot of time with folks. Yeah, yeah. I have some of my entrepreneurs or CEOs that'll call me. They're having an issue with like their girlfriend, right? And it's like 12:30 at night. and they're picking up the phone and they're calling me. Like those, not everyone's gonna do that, but right. But you want the potential for the relationship to get there, right? And if and you can have some amazingly talented founders, right? And they're going to solve some really great problems, but they might not be a right fit for your working style, or I might not be a good fit for their working style, right? And so you got to pick that up too. So it's kind of a courting process as well as a kind of a diligence process too.
Yeah, I think definitely it's a relationship industry, venture capital. David Horneck always says he always feels weird when he fills in forms and says he's in the financial industry because he doesn't feel like that at all. And really, it is a more of a relationship industry, I would
Yeah.
really feel.
Yeah, it's all about the relationships. I don't know what else to say about that.
Well, wonderful to talk to you. Thank you so much for this interview. And I'm so looking forward to this conversation. I think it's going to be great. Martha's a fabulous moderator, and Nancy and yourself, it'll just be great. Thank you.
No, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward as well.